Hello, my name is William and welcome back to my channel, Simply the Culinarian. Today on my channel, I'm going to show you how to make Swiss meringue buttercream. Hey Google, what is Swiss buttercream?
On the website liveforcake.com, they say, though more involved than an American buttercream, Swiss meringue buttercream is the easiest of the meringue buttercreams. It involves cooking eggs and sugar over a double boiler, whipping them into a meringue, then adding butter and flavorings.
So, that is true, but on today I'm going to show you a more simple way of doing that and getting the same results rather than cooking the egg meringue and the sugar on the stove. We're just going to cook the sugar and we're going to do our meringue in our stand mixer. So, let's take a look at those ingredients and let's get started. Alright, so let's run through those ingredients. You're going to need 2 cups of white sugar. You're going to need 2/3 cups of water. You're going to need 2 cups of egg whites. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. You're going to need a 1/2 cup of sugar. So keep that in mind. Keep those 2 sugars divided. You're also going to need 2 pounds of unsalted butter softened. And when I say that, I mean not hard, but not too soft where if you poke it, your finger goes all the way through. You want it to have some type of give, but not cold. So, and you're going to need 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. You're also going to need a candy thermometer for this. So, this is a candy thermometer. I don't use this because sometimes when I'm doing this, I like to do something else. So what I just use is I use a probe thermometer, and I just set it to the temp that I want it to the alarm to go off on, and when it's ready, that's when I know my sugar is at the right temp, which is, we're going to cook the sugar to 235 degrees. So, also, this recipe is more the intermediate level. So, it's going to cause for a stand mixer. Listen to me when I say this. You cannot make this with a hand mixer. You cannot make this with an inexpensive stand mixer. You must have a stand mixer of quality, preferably KitchenAid, or there's other brands out there that are of, almost this good quality of this. The reason being is that this recipe takes quite a bit of time. It takes, I'm going to say on average, maybe 40-45 minutes. So your stand mixer is running for a long time. And those inexpensive mixers or hand mixers, well, you can't do it with a hand mixer anyway, but the motor will burn out before this is even completed. They just don't have the power to handle this type of recipe. So make sure you have the right equipment to do this, and let's get started. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the 2 cups of sugar and the 2/3 cups of water in a small sauce pot, so we can start cooking that, because this is going to take up most of our time here. And you kind of just want to wet that sugar. And you want to make sure you cook this as high as your stove goes. If you got gas, you may want to watch it a little bit, but I wouldn't say as high as it goes, whatever fits the size of your sauce pot. So we're going to start cooking that. And what I'm going to do from there, I'm going to set my timer to 235 degrees. That is a soft ball stage, and you really don't want to cook it anything too much more above that. You kind of have a small, maybe 5-degree window before you've gone too far with it. So be mindful of that, and make sure if you're using the candy thermometer, you're paying attention. That's why I like to use the probe thermometer, because it has the alarm and it lets you know when it's at the right degree. Sometimes it's a little tricky. It may go off before because it may be reading the bottom of the pot too much. All right, got that set. I'm just going to drop this in, and the plastic will not melt. That's the beauty of this. You can drop it straight in. All right, moving on to the meringue. So your bowl, you're going to add those 2 cups of egg whites, just like so. You're going to start whipping this. Now, once you get to the stage where your egg whites is frothy, not soft peak, but frothy, that is when you're going to go ahead and you're going to add your 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. Now, this is cream of tartar. It's a white powder. Let's see if I can focus it. Cream of tartar. It's a white powder. And you find it on the seasoning aisle in your grocery store, wherever you find all your seasonings, you'll find cream of tartar. And what this does, it acts as a stabilizer for your meringue, so your meringue doesn't deflate easy when you're doing this. So, just gonna add 2 teaspoons, right into your foamy egg whites. You're going to keep mixing. Excuse me, when you get to the stage where you're at a soft peak, this is when you want to add that 1/2 cup of sugar. Now, keep in mind, let me stop before I go too far. The amount that we're making is to frost and decorate either 2 8-inch or 2 9-inch cakes. If you just want to frost the cake with your buttercream, take this recipe and cut it in half. But if you want to frost and decorate, then keep this recipe just as it is. All right? And then you're going to whip this till you get a stiff peak. That's about as far as we want to take it. You definitely don't want to over whip your meringue at this point. You just want to get it right when it's smooth and at a stiff peak. You don't want to over whip it to the point where it looks crumbly, because then you've mixed it too much. I mean, you can still survive from there, but that's not really what you want. So, this is almost ready. It's at 228 degrees. This is my first time cooking sugar on this little infrared heater, so it seems to be doing quite well and moving quite fast. And it usually, it usually sits at the 226 degrees, between 226 and 228 degrees, maybe 30, for a while, and you won't see it move. And that's because I don't know that sugar, but you know, keep going. That sugar will climb higher as you're cooking this. There are some recipes where if you're making hard candy, you have to cook this even higher to an even higher temperature. So you're really boiling it. You just have to have a lot of patience. So we're almost there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to transfer this to a glass measuring cup. Normally I don't, but since I'm doing this backwards, I want to have a little bit of ease doing this because the sugar is very hot, extremely hot. And you don't want this to burn you because it will stick. Right, we're at 233 degrees. And this is the point where I kind of move it around a little bit just in case it's a misread. And you'll notice because the temperature will jump down if it is, but it's not so. All right, you hear that? We're at 235 degrees. So we're just going to cut this off. Carefully remove your thermometer because it is hot. This would have taken me longer on my stove. Wow, that's amazing. Just going to add this to our measuring cup. And you want to move quickly at this point because you don't really want to lose that heat. Now, this next part is so crucial because this recipe can go left so many ways if you don't pay close attention. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pouring this slowly but quickly into this meringue. Now, you want to mix this at a low speed. Do not mix it on high because what will happen is your sugar will hit your beaters and it'll start spinning it all around the bowl and it'll start hardening, making candy and not incorporating into your meringue, and it'll be ruined and you'll have bits and pieces of candy and it'll crunchy and it'll just not be a good thing. So I wouldn't turn it above a 2-speed. Now, this might be a little bit much. Sometimes you want to maybe decrease your egg whites to maybe a cup and a half sometimes, because sometimes it gets, depending on the freshness of the egg whites, it gets really, really poofy. So, now that I have my sugar, my cooked sugar incorporated into my meringue, this is where we're going to turn up the heat to full blast. Now, be mindful, sometimes it splatters, sometimes it splashes. You know, you can turn it down a notch, but you want to beat this at high speed for at least 15 minutes. And that's because we want that hot sugar, you can fill the bowl, we want that hot sugar to cool down before we add our butter. Because if you add our butter with this being too hot, that butter will instantly start to melt inside your buttercream. You can fix it from that, but that'll take you even longer, and that's just not what we want to do. We want to have great results the first go around. So let's turn this up to high, and let's beat this for about 15 minutes.